So a little tip, if you don't like weeding and you don't like weeds, I'm going to show you something that may just help. Good morning, welcome back to Alan's Allotment. I want to start today's video with some of the comments that was mentioned in the last couple of videos that I've done around purchasing plants for your garden. Now, there are certain times in the year I'm not adverse to purchasing plants. I don't mind admitting. I like to grow my own, but sometimes either the weather's against you because you have a terrible winter, you haven't got the facilities for grow mats and heated propagators and all the rest, like me. And the only way you can go is to purchase plants. Now, it's not cost effective, however, I do prefer to grow my own, and I do where I can. But if you have a bad germination, or you forget to sow something, or you actually don't have those seeds in your seed collection, there are certain times where you pop out, local supermarket, local garden centre, and you will purchase some seeds. And sometimes it's advantageous because if you go to your local garden centre in particular, the plants that you find there are usually brought onto the stage at the right time of year for planting out. And it's true to a greater or lesser degree with the supermarket ones. However, they'll sometimes have early batches out which would tempt novices to plant them early, and then you get a really bad spring and they don't succeed. You've got to go and purchase more. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with purchasing plants if either you forgot to sow them, you've had poor germination, or you've just had a bad season weather-wise and it didn't work out for you. There's no shame in that whatsoever. So just for what it's worth, and I've been and actually got some more, purchased some more myself for that very reason. I had basically forgotten to sow any celery. The dwarf beans, as you know, didn't really work out. Now there's two ways this could go. As you see, I planted all those in the last video. Used the rest of that packer up. They could all come up and I could have a glut of them, but that doesn't really matter. As a precautionary, I bought another tray of dwarf French beans. And for the cost, to be honest with you, you get your money back anyways. You've only got to get 2 or 3 plants to survive. You'll get your money back that you've paid out for those seedlings. I've also got perpetual spinach. I'd forgot to plant that. I do have the seed, but I'd forgot to plant it. And I got some more onion because I do want more onion in. And although I've got plenty planted, I want more. And these just happen to be in a really good height. They'll go in and they'll still bulb up before the season finishes. Today we're going to be planting out some of our plants into all our hard work where we've created the raised bed and almost finished that garden. And this is the best part, planting out. Right, we're over in the garden now, as you can see. And this is the fun part. This is where gardening is pleasurable. So we had this part of the bed prepped already with weeds, removed all the weeds on earlier videos. Odd 1 or 2 there, we just pull them as we go. We're going to get these in the ground. So these are broccoli. I'm only putting 6 plants in. I've got more, but I'm going to give my brother some. And I'm basically putting 6 into this bed here. Now, being a brassica, it will need protected. I'm taking a bit of a gamble on those other cabbages and cauliflowers that we removed the cages from. I had to remove the cages basically because I made a mistake and planted the broad beans in between them. So firm them down. They like to be really, really firm. And I made a mistake by planting the broad beans which grew up to the top of the covers, and hence I had to remove them because they were starting to bend over. So we'll just see. Hopefully Mother Nature will still give us a harvest from those. We're just putting 6 in here, like I said. And there's a reason why I've chosen this bed for the broccoli. And that's because, to save myself a bit of time, making a cover to cover these and protect them, I've got one we done earlier. One of those we removed off the other brassica bed. We can put straight over the top of this, and they're the best thing I ever done those. I will be making more of them because they don't fit the pallet collar beds. Excuse me. Basically, we'll just grow what we need. It just gives us fresh produce, and the taste of homegrown is far superior to anything you can buy in the supermarket. Not that I'm knocking it, we all survive on supermarket foods. However, it's the taste that we grow this for, because it's just far superior. Anything you grow yourself is just far superior, providing your ground is conditioned correctly, of course. If you're growing in poor soils, well, that will make a difference. However, it probably will still taste better than the supermarket stuff. So as you can see, we've got a wheelbarrow full of stuff here. Going to get it all planted out, and then we'll give you a look around. Right, that's it, we're all done. So here's one of the frames that I made in an earlier video that was covering the other brassicas over there. It was a nice quick, lift it straight on, instant protection, no faffing about with netting and wires and bricks and pegs. And I'm going to make a lot more of these. They can also be just disassembled with 4 screws on each side panel and 2 on the top, and stacked away in the garage for winter. So what I've done is in this little space left, I've put some Ailsa Craig onions in there, and then we've planted out the centre bed with all the sweet corn. When you're planting sweet corn, you probably already know, but just for those that don't, you plant it in a block, in a square or an oblong. And as you can see, this is a nice place where it will get a bit of breeze. I don't know whether to put a frame over the top of that to let them get down and get established, but the fact that this bed, we didn't fill it completely, has about 4 inches, and it's offering some wind protection anyway, right down at the root. So they shouldn't be long. I grew them on in pots to get them to this size, so they shouldn't take long at putting the roots right down. Then we've got 4 rhubarb chard in the centre. Then we've got the celery round the sides of the bed. Now celery likes lots and lots and lots of water, so if you're planting or growing celery, make sure you keep it well watered, guys. And then we've got some more onions to fill that little space. Then we've moved on to this bed, and we've put the rest of the onions in here, and one of my pots of leeks. So this entire row here is leeks. Then we've spaced out the onions, and I've planted leeks in between a block of 4. You probably can't really see this, but basically, so we've got onion, 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 that's a leek. Onion, 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 that's a leek, and so on like that. You get the idea, guys. The onions will be out before the leeks, so it fills up those little spaces and gets the leeks on the way as well, and then we'll get the onion harvest, which will then allow more room for the leeks. And these are perpetual spinach, and we've put 2, 4, 6, 8 in here, and I've deliberately put them close together because I don't want the leaves getting too big. I want to take them as baby leaves, so we've put them closer together. The further you spread them apart, the bigger you'll get the leaves, but I purposely planted them close together so we'll get smaller leaves. And I've still got all of that space left for something else to go in. And I've still got this complete bed here. We're going for a cup of coffee, and then the next job is to come back and weed between these onions and finish this bed off. And that shouldn't take too long. It's pretty easy. It just picks out this weed. It's nice and easy to come out. So there we have it, another job done. Another job jobbed, all weeded in between these onions, and it looks fantastic. That bed's sorted out, 20 minutes and it's done. So a little tip, if you don't like weeding, and you don't like weeds, I'm going to show you something that may just help. Right guys, let's face it, when it comes to weeding, there's not many people enjoys doing weeding. And because we've been concentrating on getting the plot and all its final touches done and all the work that's went into this, obviously some things have suffered. Now I've just weeded that onion bed behind me, 20 minutes. And to be honest, by the time it was over and done with before I even knew about it. So one thing I've found that helps, get yourself a nice comfortable seat, and instead of thinking, oh, I need to get this weeded, I hate weeding, think about it as a leisure time where you can just sit, let your mind wander, and concentrate. While your mind is wandering, you're just automatically pulling the weeds. And before you know where you are, the entire bed is weeded. It's less strain on your back because you're sitting down, you're comfortable. If you're sitting in the sunshine, it's even better. Preferably do it on a day where it's comfortable for you, which is for me today. And because I've got all of the big jobs done, the really big jobs, I need to now just concentrate on keeping the garden right. Otherwise, what happens is you put it off and put it off, and these become overwhelming. And you look at it, and the more you look at it, the less you want to do it. Then your crops suffer because they're competing. The weeds are competing for the nutrients in the ground. So, just for what it's worth, guys, that's how I'm looking at it, and it does make it more pleasurable. I'm going to crack on and get this done, and perhaps even the next one. And there we have it, guys, half an hour. We've weeded all of that, weeded in between all this garlic, and I've done this one as well. But what I've done with this one is I've pulled out the garlic, because where there's that's a full bed, this one was very sporadic, and some of it didn't make it, so I decided I would pull this bed now. Now this has been pulled a month early, but I'm rather pleased with how it's turned out. And you can see that some of these bulbs are a really good size. So we're going to string those up and leave them to dry out, either in the dry area over there, in the treehouse, or the polytunnel, whichever. So we'll get those strung up. That's going to be usable garlic. We'll keep some back for seed, especially the bigger ones, and that frees me another bed. So I'm going to call it a day for today, guys. Actually no, I'm not. Another way of looking at weeding is, look at all of that material I've collected to make compost with. All that's just going to go straight in to the compost bin now, so look at it as being useful as well. And today we've even got a small harvest out of the garden. So I've picked the first of the radish. They're big enough to eat, but I've basically just pulled the biggest ones. We've got another week or so, I think, to go with these, to be honest. We've got a few strawberries, 3 little pak choy, and the last of the cabbages out of the container. So, a bonus. Right, if you've enjoyed today's little video or got some benefit out of it in some way, don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out. If it's your first time here, think about hitting that subscribe button on the bottom. Then hit the little bell icon on the right, select all, and that will alert you every time I put up a new video. Your clicks and your thumbs up and any comments are all very much appreciated, guys. For now, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical, keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.